Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, everyone. So, nowadays, everyone uses plastic, and people like to think that plastic pollution was not their problem. But in reality, in gradual processes, plastic will be influenced by natural forces and degrade. And this process will eventually lead to the production of microplastic. Imagine you have a grain of rice and picture it 200 times smaller. You'll find the size of microplastic. So our presentation, tiny troublemakers, microplastic, and the echoes of environmental impact. So let me introduce our members. The first one is Dimas Muzaqi Putra, myself. The second one is Fathurrahman Nasution. Next, Nadya, Katarina, Firdaus. The next is Nisriina, Aathirah, Rivani. And the last one is Shandy, Rizky, Annazari. So the first point will be explained by Nisriina.
Thank you, Dimas. So, what is microplastics? Microplastics are very small plastic particles, usually less than 5 millimeters. They come from the breakage of larger plastic objects or are intentionally produced on a small scale. Microplastics can be found in a variety of environments, including the ocean, rivers, lakes, soil, and even air. There are two main sources of microplastics: primary microplastics and secondary microplastics. Examples of primary microplastics are some products, such as exfoliating granules in personal care products, intentionally produced as tiny plastic particles and added to consumer goods, as well as tiny plastic fibers shipped from synthetic textile, such as polyester and nylon during washing. An example of secondary microplastics are larger plastic objects, such as bottles and bags, that can break down into smaller particles over time due to the influence of weather, sunlight, and other environmental factors. Microplastics have become a significant environmental concern for several reasons, such as public interest, potential harm to wildlife, environmental persistence, and chemical contamination. Efforts that can be made globally to address the problem of microplastics include regulation, research and waste management, public awareness, and education on the environmental impacts of plastic pollution, including microplastics, is essential to foster responsible consumption and waste management practice. So the next point will be explained by Tari. Thank you.
Thank you, Anis. So the bigger question would be why microplastics should be our concern. Microplastics have become a big concern for our planet. Imagine a world where tiny, even invisible fragments of plastic swirl in our oceans, infiltrate our food chain, and also persist in our environment for centuries. This is not a hypothetical scenario. This is our reality. Next. And we need to be concerned. Microplastics stick around for a crazy long time. Unlike bigger plastic that eventually break down, these small bits can hang around for hundreds, even thousands of years. Once they are in the environment, they don't really go away, which keeps the pollution cycles going and keeps on threatening our nature and people's health. First of all, the ecological imbalance that caused by this microplastic is very concerning. These tiny particles disrupt ecosystem, affecting everything from the smallest organism to the top predator. They mess with the environment, they making it hard for creatures to survive and also to reproduce, which make the variety of life reduced. This also can weaken ecosystem and make them less able to handle other environmental issues. Besides that, microplastic also make an impact to people's health. When these super small plastic get into the food chain, they are very dangerous to us because study shows that This microplastic can build up in the tissue of the sea animals that we eat, which when we consume the animals, when we consume the food, we might also take in the toxin and also the chemicals that are very dangerous to us. And this also can cause various health problems that are very, very concerning. Lastly, these microplastics are everywhere. They're not picky, they're found everywhere from deep in oceans to the top mountain. Microplastic also found in the air, water, and soil, which is very dangerous. And this widespread shows how urgent it is to tackle microplastic on a big global scale. So, the negative effect of microplastic for human health will be explained by my friends Fatur. Thank you.
Okay, so in this time, I will explain the negative effect of the microplastic for human health. According to the Holodoc website, there's a 5 things that will make the negative effect. The first is the making the body cell. Why is the body cell? Because body cells is the first thing that will affect it. The toxin inside the microplastic will cause a damage in the body cells. And when this happens, it will cause a caustic problem, including it will make a caustic problem in the human body and also the organ inside it. Second, trigger the danger disease. Microplastic, the toxin inside the microplastic will trigger the danger disease that including the urological disease or even the worst amongst all the cancer. Third, trigger the allergic reaction. Allergic reaction is the common thing for the another symptom. But the allergic reaction caused by the microplastic is more dangerous than allergic reaction caused by the common symptom. Next, the fourth. Fourth is the body metabolism disorder, and the fifth is hormonal disorder. Hormonal disorder is the final thing or the final case caused the microplastic. This will affect the endocrine and the endocrine, if the endocrine was affected, then it will disrupt the synthesis or the transport of the hormone. And the next topic will be explained by my friend Dimas Ari Muzaqi Putra.
Okay, thank you, Fathurrahman. So the next point is impact of microplastic into nature. So beside the perception that plastic waste is unnatural and ugly, it's also been known to harm marine environments and also land environments. And in the environment, microplastic can be transported through winds and ocean currents. So there is a road that transfer microplastic from pedosphere into hydrosphere. I just want to emphasize that microplastic is an real invisible threat for our environment, just like what Nadya said before. And so microplastic act as a factor for heavy metals and environmental pollutants. For example, the presence of PE or polyethylene, one of one of the types of plastic, the presence of PE and chromium, which is an carcinogen, can lead to decrease in acetylcholinesterase, which is an enzyme for antitoxicity. So when there are no optimal works of this enzyme, it can lead to cancer. Just like what Fathurrahman said, microplastic can lead to the cancer. Okay, so microplastic can originate from hydrosphere, pedosphere, and atmosphere, and that's going to us as an organism and into nature. So the research by Yang at 2021 says that 70% of plastic is on sediments form and 15% of microplastic is on suspended form. Okay, so what is the impact of microplastic for biota? So the impact for aquatic biota actually is so it's so dangerous. So microplastic, which is PE, interact with zinc oxide, and zinc oxide can make algae bloom or bloom algae, which is increased growth of microalgae. And algae bloom or bloom algae is actually not good for ocean environment, for sea environment, because it will like decrease the oxygen and decrease the nutrient that fish that is important for fish. And also, microplastic affected organ system. Some research say that microplastic there is accumulation of microplastic in gastrointestinal tract of whale, and then there is a disruption of the nesting ground and egg hatching on green turtle. So it's also been known that microplastic is there are so many microplastic in beach beach sand. So it will like disrupt egg green turtle egg hatching process. And also microplastic were detected in the walrus feces. And how about the impact of microplastic on soil biota? So microplastic have various impact on plant, affecting vegetative and reproductive at wheat of wheat. So when imagine that when wheat is affected by uh, microplastic, so the microplastic will decrease its biomass. So it will not it will the wheat will not optimal again. And also, microplastic reduce metabolic rate of mice. So it will decrease the energy production of mice. And also, there are increase in enzyme activity of earthworm. So this condition indicating free radical agent present in plastic, in microplastic. And if so, uh, it will lead to the cancer. So one of the most dangerous disease in the world. And also, microplastic disturb microbial gut activity, which is can make a problem of the absorption of nutrients. And when the absorption of nutrients get disrupted, there is led to the chaotic condition inside organism body. Okay, the next point will be explained by Sandy.
Okay, thank you, Dimas. Once again, my name is Shandy Rizky Annazari, and in this topic, we will explain to you how to solve the microplastics in the world. First is mitigation. We need to know what is mitigation first. Mitigation is action to reduce the risk of something. In this case, is how we reduce the microplastic effect in the world. The next is innovation. Innovation is how we make a product or something that can uh, reduce the effect by the microplastic that has already spreading around the seas. Okay, first mitigation. The first mitigation is avoid using a single-use plastic. As we know that in this world, we often to use the single-use plastics to buy something in the market, in the mall, even in the coffee shop, in the shop. Uh, we need to avoid using that plastic. Next is recycle it properly. When we cannot avoid using a single-use plastic, we need to think that how we can prevent these plastics to spread around the seas. So the first thing comes to our mind is to recycle the plastic properly. In fact, at this present, only 9% plastics that had been recycled worldwide. It's so little if we compare it to the plastics that spread around the ocean. The next is participate in a beach or river cleanup. So this mitigation or this preventing action is the best thing that we can do so the plastic didn't spread more in the ocean, in the middle of the ocean. So First, we just need to make an event or we join an event to clean up the beach and the river or the lake, even the soil, even the ground. We can clean up the plastic everywhere. Next is innovation. The first innovation is bionic robofish that made by scientists. The the tiny robot fish that has program in it that will swim around the ocean to absorb the microplastic on its soft, elastic, and self-healing body. The next is whirlpool technology. This technology is using a tube to make a vortex in the water, and then uh, the water 3.0 PEX will make the microplastic becoming a popcorn size uh, to floating in the surface of the water. So we can take it easily without any risk. Next, maybe this is all we can explain. So the conclusion is microplastics are really tiny bits of plastics, usually less than 5 millimeters in size. They come from either breaking down plastic things or being intentionally made in small amounts. Microplastics are a topic that we must pay attention to because of the negative effects they can have both on nature, on this planet, and on human themselves. Therefore, treatment is needed such as mitigation and innovation, which is expected to reduce the microplastic problem for a better life in the future. Thank you.
Okay, so that's all our presentation. Thank you very much for your attention. And I will close this presentation with quote: "We are not only polluting our planet, but we are polluting ourselves too. So let's keep safe our Earth because there is no other Earth." That's all from us. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.